There are contradicting statements of Jesus. Like when we read Matthew 13, he says that not even one iota of the law is going to be changed, meaning that he hasn't come to change the commandments of God. He didn't come to build something new. He only came to fulfill the law. Basically, he's telling people, and the rich man story as well. You know about the rich man story, where Jesus says clearly to the man who came running to him, "How can I reach everlasting paradise?"
Yeah.
And Jesus says to him, "Fulfill the commandments."
Yeah.
And it wasn't something which was new that he introduced. This concept of the church and subsequent men who came after, he did not, in his words, say. That he said something in the contrary.
Friend, you've mentioned many interesting and valid points, but just going back to the point about the establishment of the church, I know your view is that, well, I mean, I'm implying from your view that we Catholics, we've changed the law. So how can, you quoted Matthew, how can this be what we're saying? But if you just hold fire on that for a minute, just on the statement from Matthew 16 there, it does clearly to me state it in isolation that Jesus is establishing a church which has teaching authority and it's indestructible. I say that's the Catholic Church, but somebody might say no, it's some other church which he established. But the testimony of that statement is a church was established by Jesus. You can go on to say, well, maybe so, but look, you've changed the law, so you've done something wrong. Fair point, but that would mean I would go on to explain to you why we've not erred in that business of the law. You see, my explanation is that Jesus changes the law.
Where?
The law of divorce. They come to him, the Pharisees, and they say, hey, isn't it quite proper for a man to give a writ of divorce to his wife? Jesus says, Moses allowed that for you because your hearts were hard, but I say to you, it wasn't like that from the beginning.
No.
A man shall not divorce his wife.
But
so he's actually changed the law of Moses in the Gospel of Matthew and the Gospel of Mark.
I don't have an argument against Jesus changing that particular law. He was based on the knowledge that I have of him, he was a messenger and he was sent by God. This is my belief. Okay. And he came to make those people that lived at that time upright, to change what they were doing from bad to good. And this is most probably what he wanted to change. But in terms of the commandments, he was circumcised. He worshipped in the Garden of Gethsemane. He worshipped God. There were so many instances when he went and he saw the fig tree. He didn't have any knowledge. Okay. There's so many passages and verses which show me
showing him as an obedient Israelite,
as an obedient Jew.
But let's again just keep focused on this point you were raising.
Yes.
On the one hand, he's saying he's not come to change the law.
Yes.
On the other, he changes a major aspect of the law, because it is the law of divorce is not. It's not like an evil thing to allow divorce. Okay. It's not evil at all. It wasn't a degradation. What was a degradation was to actually put away your wife because you fancied something else.
So what did Jesus say?
Jesus said, Moses allowed this for you because your hearts were hard.
Okay. So what did
but I say to you, it wasn't like that from the beginning.
Yeah.
I say to you, a man shall not divorce his wife.
Okay.
And he says, except in the case of infidelity. Now, the actual structure of that sentence is the cause of many interpretations. So I won't go into that. But the key point is, he has changed the law of Moses. Gosh, Matthew 19:9, I think. Forgive me, I think maybe Mark 10, but I'm not sure. But go to Matthew 19:9 if my memory does not fail me.
Matthew 19:9.
Yep. Now, the sole purpose of me raising this is to show that when Jesus says he's not changing the law, you have to understand it in a particular way. It's not to be taken just on the face of it. One has to read these other things that he does and says.
Yeah, but he
For example, in Mark's Gospel, there's a question about food. Okay. Now, I know dietary issues are very important for you. Well, they were for the Jews and they still are today. But for him, he said he declared all foods clean.
No, Paul did. Don't say...
No, read in Mark.
Mark what?
Oh, Mark. Mark 10. You see, you need a Protestant here to give you the actual verses, when I'm actually a Catholic who doesn't remember.
This is not factual. What you're saying is not factual. Paul says that he's come to.
No, don't.
That Jesus changed this. Jesus
Hold on.
Told me to.
I'll
change
show
that.
you. I'll show you. But I have to find the right verse.
Well, so you're saying Jesus ate pork?
I don't know what he ate, but he made foods clean.
But listen,
Show it to me.
listen, this is.
Sorry?
What is with the fig tree?
I can't hear you.
Issue the fig tree. What is with the fig tree?
Basically, he saw the fig tree. So basically, my argument is there was many things he did not know. He said, "I don't know the last hour. I don't know many things." He did not know that the tree was not in season. It was not in season.
But
Not quite. Not quite.
That is not the fact. The fact is that it was
Sorry,
that's what they're speaking in parable. That was a parable.
Listen, let us not complicate the issue by sticking with the divorce, because that's big enough.
no, but
If you've got to
we
change
sort of
there.
moved away.
Oh no, but we established
Let's
that
go
he
back
changes the law. So law
didn't
itself,
change the law.
the law of divorce is changed. You've got there, have you?
Okay, what your argument is he's changed the laws. Yes, it was a law.
Yeah.
But not laws. When we talk about laws, there's many instances where in many in Matthew,
Matthew
in Mark.
15.
Sorry, which one?
Is it?
Matthew 15, he says, that which goes into a man's mouth is clean, and that which comes out.
Thank you very much for that, Michael.
Matthew 15,
Then some Pharisees and teachers
Yes.
of the law came to Jesus from Jerusalem and asked, "Why do you disciples break the tradition of the elders? They don't wash their hands." It was to do with washing the hands. It had nothing to do. Yeah, I've read this. Hands before they eat.
Oh, you put it like that? Oh, okay.
Okay.
We need one.
No, because I've read this verse.
Oh, do you think we have it?
You're being aggressive. I
I'm
don't know
not.
why
I
you're being.
haven't
I don't know why
tried
you're being
it.
aggressive.
I'm not.
You're
I'm
being
not,
very
I'm not being
aggressive.
condescending. You didn't even
Jesus
a minute ago,
replied.
You said it wasn't there because it was
I haven't read.
Oh
this.
yeah, he got it. Yeah. Yeah.
No, I just read the
Hold on.
first part there.
Yeah.
Jesus replied,
Right,
"Why do
Matthew
you break the command of God
15:11.
for God said, honor your father and mother, and
see what
curses
his-
their father and mother, which is put to death. But you say
Some of
that
these
if anyone
Bibles
declares
who
that
don't
with
know what
their
happens
mouth,
really.
Yeah. I'm a Catholic who doesn't know his Bible.
not to honor their father or mother,
That's it, yeah?
Yes.
nullify the
That's
words.
it.
That's it. That's the very thing.
Isaiah was right when he prophesied about these people honor me with their lips, okay? Jesus cried to him and said, "Listen, understand, what goes into someone's mouth does not defile them, but what comes out of their mouth, that is what defiles them." The disciples came to him and asked, "Do you know that the Pharisees were offended when they heard this?" He replied, "Every plant that my heavenly Father has not planted will be pulled by the roots. Leave them, they are blind guides. If the blind guide lead the blind, both will fall into pit. Peter said, "Explain the parable to us." "Are you still so dull?" Jesus asked them. "Don't you see whatever enters the mouth goes into the stomach and then goes out of the body? But the things that come out of the person's mouth come from the heart, and this is what defiles them. For that of the heart came evil thoughts, murder."
You don't need to read further, really.
No, you have to read everything. These are what defile a person, but eating with unwashed hands does not defile them. So the whole discussion is not to do with eating swine or lamb or whatever it may be.
Are you really seriously trying to say when
But
Jesus said
It's about your hand.
that it's about your hands,
no,
he said what goes
The
into a
Jew-
man doesn't
no,
matter?
No, wait.
Okay, go on.
The Jews at the time,
Yeah.
they believed that to purify your food, you had to wash your hands. And there was a certain way you wash your hands.
Uh-huh.
And Jesus is saying, there are more important things than these practices. that
Yeah, but they're
you
part
have.
of the law. They're part of the law.
But what I mean by part of the law
Ablutions are part of the law.
but you're failing to understand what
Yeah.
my argument is. My
Yeah.
argument is, Jesus did not come to change or nullify the laws, such as, for example, the eating of swine. For
How do you know?
Not
I ask you how you know.
because, okay, I know by, number one, he was circumcised on the 6th day, based on what Matthew says. He
Okay.
told many men on numerous occasions, and I can bring all of the times, he said, make sure you keep to the commandments. From his own mouth.
No,
If
you gave
believe-
me one. You gave one. The rich young man, he said, keep the commandments,
Okay,
and he
I'll give you-
enumerates
I'll
the commandments,
I'll give you
and they're the
another one.
commandments
I'll
of
give
the
you
10
another
commandments.
I'll give
He
you-
doesn't give any
No,
others.
I'll give you another one. There's many occasions, but I'll give you another
But that's still, you've still got to show that he refused to allow the eating of pigs.
No, but as I said to you,
Because you could,
this
you,
verse,
you,
this verse, the problem,
Prunes or cheeseburger.
no, this argument, I understand what Jesus is saying in this
That's
argument.
Yes.
He's saying
yes.
the Jews at the time,
Yes.
what they were doing was they were sinning a lot. But at the same time, they were keeping to certain commandments, things which were not needed to be kept, such as the washing of the hands. And he's saying there are more important things that these people are not following, which
Okay.
is, for example, I'm not going to...
That's what you take from that.
No, it's not...
So when he said that which goes into your mouth does not defile you, you've ignored that. You're concentrating on the hand washing,
But it's to do with hand washing.
No, it's
That's
not.
I've read it.
and you've read it incorrectly.
But that's your opinion.
Yes.
Yeah, that's your opinion.
Yeah. If you said
But if he
2 + 2 is
says-
6, you would be
Yeah.
wrong, not an opinion.
But if Jesus says here,
Doesn't he say that which goes into a man's mouth does not defile him?
that means if I eat bacon, it does not defile me, according to Jesus.
You're reading it wrong.
Oh, you're wrong.
Now hold on, you've all right, my friends,
Calm down.
my friends,
Your thoughts.
You are wrong.
my friends. We have to park this then, don't we? Because we're clearly at an impasse. If we read it as I can eat bacon because Jesus says it won't defile me, and you say bacon will defile you, despite Jesus saying what goes into a man's mouth does not defile him, we just have to leave that one for now.
I tell
We have to
you,
move on,
unless
don't
you
we?
Repent. Look, listen to this, right?
I'll listen.
Jesus said, only by repenting to people not perish. Well, that's the repenting. No, that's. Wait 1 second. I'll get that verse because I'm only using your Bible. I'm
Okay,
not
you
using the
just
Quran. I'm not
okay,
using the
okay,
Old
you
Testament.
are.
I'm
Yeah,
using
no
your
worries,
Bible.
no worries, no worries, no worries.
No, myself.
And then in the vision to Peter, he tells him everything he could eat.
Yes, yes. We haven't got to that yet.
You can eat anything.
Don't worry, we won't pop your ball.
Okay, Matthew 5:17. What does Jesus say? Do not think that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. Now the prophets were Moses and what Moses preached. He said, Jesus saying, I have not come to abolish the laws or the
Yeah.
prophets.
Just to modify
I
them.
have not come to abolish them, but to fulfill them.
Yeah.
For I truly say to you, till heaven and earth pass away, not an iota.
Yeah. Not
an
a jot,
iota,
not a tittle.
dot
Yes.
will
Now,
pass from the law
yes.
until all is accomplished.
Okay, now you've read that and you've read these other things. You've read about abolition of the law of divorce, allowing of eating of things, allowing of not having to wash your hands. He's clearly modifying the law. So that's all we're Catholics are doing. We've modified the law. That's all we've done. We've taken the principle in the New Testament and we've modified the law. So the church
so
then.
I'll give you another verse.
So
I'll
well,
give you
there's no
another
need,
verse.
is there really?
Matthew 5:17. Whoever therefore breaks one of these commandments and teaches men to shall be called the least
Yes.
in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever does not teach, whoever does
Yeah.
and teaches them, he shall be great
Who's he telling that?
in the kingdom of heaven. For assuredly I say to you, till heaven. Yeah. So basically, he's saying
Who's
to
he
you,
talking to?
Paul. What did Paul do? He came and he tried to change. No, he did change.
But hold on, you've got Jesus himself modifying the law in the verses we've said.
way? In what
Even
way?
you agreed he's modified the law about ablutions before eating.
But
You
again-
say they're trivial. Listen, I don't disagree with you, but they're part of the law which he is modifying. If he establishes a precedent whereby you can modify
That's
the
a big
law,
leap from your side.
the question
But that's
then.
a big leap. You're jumping a lot because what you're doing there is you're making an assumption based on this that yes, I can eat swine or I don't need to circumcise.
No.
That's a big leap.
Actually, do you know what I'm doing?
Would you agree?
Do you know what I'm doing? Here's my assumption. If you're allowed to modify the law in a little thing, the question is, how far can you go
That's a good
in
point.
modifying the law? Now, in principle, in
So
principle,
we should
we
wait till
don't. In
Philip-
principle, we don't know. We have to. You said you were going to say, and you generously let me speak. I say, in principle, I don't know how far we can go, how far we should go, how far we go, and we're beyond the limit of what we should do. And I say that's true of any man. Step in the Catholic Church to tell us what the limits are, and that's what it does.